So just before we jump into the video, a quick little disclaimer / addendum to the interview with Wes that's coming right up. This was filmed at WBC about a month ago, end of July, and since then the game has been picked up and signed by Compass. That's coming, in the future, probably end of 2023, 2024 sometime. But just wanted to kind of give you that piece of information. It's just so that you have that knowledge, because we'll talk about it not being with the company during the interview, but it has since subsequently been signed, so we can be very excited for that to come in the future, and a big congratulations to Wes and to Compass for getting that done as well. So, on with the video.
All right, so welcome. I'm Grant. Alexander's not here. It feels kind of odd not doing this with him. We're here today with Wes Crawford, who designed a very interesting looking game called Engine Thieves, and you can maybe talk about the title, but based off the historical event from 1862 in the American Civil War. We have a descendant of, I'll let you talk about that because I'll butcher that, but very cool looking solitaire game based on that event.
Exactly, and the event itself basically created the game. It's so unique that the mechanics had to be built in a special way to accommodate the situation. But yes, it's Engine Thieves, the Andrews Railroad Raid, 1862, better known as, in popular culture, the Great Locomotive Chase. And,
the Disney movie, right?
Yes, and I'll say this at this point, Greg, who we've only spent, 3 days together in our life, met him through Facebook through an interesting set of circumstances when I started talking about the game I was doing. And Greg's great-great-uncle was the one, William Pittenger, who wrote the Great Locomotive Chase book, which this movie was based on.
Okay.
I would say the Disney movie, if you want to go watch it, it's probably the most historically accurate Disney movie they ever made.
Okay.
Which might not be saying a lot, but
so you're saying the Davy Crockett movies that I grew up on as a child were not accurate?
I don't know. I think the coonskin cap was a little
That's about the
size.
old, yeah, probably.
Oh, yeah. But anyway, if you'd like to hear a little bit about the game.
Absolutely.
This is the railroad track. What happened was 20 Union Raiders ended up in Marietta. They were soldiers, and they were dressed in civilian clothes, went behind Confederate lines. They slept, acted like they didn't know each other, slept in Marietta, got up, they did take a ticket to ride to Big Shanty. And then when everybody got off for breakfast, there were 3,000 troops next to Big Shanty too, right next to the rails.
Okay.
They jumped off the train, got into boxcars and in the engine and started driving away. And their mission was...
So somebody left the keys in the locomotive.
So. I
don't think you turn those things off, right?
This was a morning stop for breakfast because they didn't have food on trains at that time.
Okay,
So everybody got off and went into a building.
And ate
everybody
breakfast
except the Raiders.
Yeah.
The Raiders.
Exactly.
Nice.
So it's just like in the historical action. Their goal is to burn bridges, which are the blue bridge marks across here, tear up track, because this is a single track all the way between connecting Atlanta and Chattanooga. You keep going up the track like this. And because General Mitchell was advancing on Chattanooga, they were threatened. The Union didn't know, like in so many battles, the Confederates were not as strong there as they thought. They started sending trains south with supplies and people. So this is a rock and a hard place kind of game. As the Raiders on the engine, the general, they're heading north. At the same time, the conductor, foreman, and engineer ran out of here and started running after them.
This is their train.
They were in trouble.
Their train was stolen.
So they can then get to a station. They'll get on a pole car, which is like those push cars you used to see, but with a pole.
Oh, okay.
And so they're chasing them. Eventually, they can get another train that's coming south or sitting in a station and chase them. That happened.
Intercept the train.
And then what's the other side of the story is they don't know the schedule of what's coming south on this single lane track. So we have these upside down counters underneath these train stacks. Some are trains, some are other encounters that you'll end up
So
going
they
to.
have to anticipate there may be a train coming and figure out how to.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
they
so
sometimes
they
they
avoid
won't
it on-
know.
yeah.
And they could have a collision between stations if they don't watch it.
Yes.
Interesting.
Actually, gameplay is through these cards. And what we have are color-coded cards. The blue, for instance, are movement cards. The green, if you encounter or have a challenge, wood, getting more wood, etc.
Ways of getting wood.
Got
Combat red. And for instance,
cards.
if you're going to move,
Combat.
you decide you do 15 minutes at a time. And say you just wanted to move for 15 minutes, you would look, do you want to go slow, medium, or fast? You see how far you go and how much wood you expend. So here's a real...
So you got to manage that resource of wood.
Right.
Exactly.
This is the wood on the tender of the
Okay.
of the train.
This is the train.
This
Oh,
is the
nice.
locomotive.
Okay.
This is the
I see
tender
that.
with all the wood. These are the raiders cooped up in one of the boxcars.
With actual pictures of them
Okay.
from this era.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And so that's what they have to do. They have to plan out their way up the track. If you stop in a station or if you run into another train, you have a challenge. Simple mechanic, but it's a little bit of wagering you have to do. For instance, there's a number. Say it's one of these with an 8. You'd have to roll 2 dice. First, you get a free roll.
Number on the board.
Roll an 8, and if you don't get it,
You rolled an 11.
You roll again. Well, say I didn't roll an 8.
Okay,
in this
got it.
example, you get another roll, but Andrews, the leader, he was a spy. He was very charismatic, so that's represented by these 20 cubes, persuasion cubes. And so he would, you can wager some of these to add to your next die roll.
Okay.
If you fail, it's pretty bad. All these face-down little counters are Confederate units, and they will start shooting you. Then it becomes a war game.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is a war game that if you succeed to the fullest extent, you never fire a shot.
Okay.
But it's very hard to do that.
Their mission was not to engage the enemy. Their mission
Yeah.
was to sabotage the railroad
Right.
and meet back up with the Union Army at Bridgeport
Yep.
Yeah.
in order to help synchronize the actions of
The attack.
So
Yeah.
their story in history was that they were carrying gunpowder for General Beauregard right after the Battle of Shiloh.
Okay.
So nobody would generally want to get near their train, even though they were a strange train coming north.
Yeah, yeah.
The spy even had documents saying, supposed documents saying that he was bringing that secret ammunition to Beauregard at Corinth.
Okay.
So he, very convincing sort of, he was
Yeah.
a double agent sort of.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
there's-
solitaire game that plays in, how long does it take to play?
I can play it since I know the rules.
Right.
An hour and a half,
Okay.
something like that.
And it can end if you do the wrong thing
Yes,
quicker
much
than
earlier.
that. You can get
very
shot
quickly.
up or head-on collision
And
or
it
run out
does-
of wood and be
Very
dead on the
quickly.
tracks.
It does
All of these
have,
things can happen.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It feels a little like a video game in that sometime you'll learn, okay, this is a rough spot, this is a rough situation. You do the wrong thing, you learn from it, you try again, you get past that, you're at the next
You mess it,
level.
yep.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
And so you have that kind of phenomenon too.
Yeah.
But these are all constantly moving south according to different rules and tables.
Okay.
And things you meet along the way can help you and or hinder you. And then there's trains you have to bluff and you might have to use persuasion
Influence,
points.
yep.
And there's an alert level. And as soon as the alert level, because of things you do, comes up to here, you start losing a persuasion cube each time.
Harder to believe you when you're on the lam.
Yep,
Right.
yep. So
How is victory determined? I see some different references to victory points over here.
you have the bridges which you burn. They're all worth 6 points. The Ustanala bridge is worth 15.
Very big bridge.
You get 20 for getting over here. If you cut a telegraph line, you get 2 points. Tear up track 1. All this can add up. You only need 22 points to win.
Okay.
But for everybody that's captured during a combat encounter, you lose a point. For everybody that's killed or hanged, because that can happen if you abandon the train,
Yeah.
it's 2 points. Engineers are double points, and the leaders triple points.
Okay.
So you can lose a whole lot if you
Right,
don't watch
right.
it. And you have to get to there by 4 p.m. It starts at 6 a.m. They're 15-minute turns. And if you don't or if you run into certain situations, run out of wood, like they really, in history, they ran out of wood right here
About
because
here,
they were
okay.
being chased and could not fill up with wood at one of the 3 wood stations.
Got it.
And they had to abandon the train, and there's a mechanic for that,
Okay.
which takes into account how far you still are away from Bridgeport, how many Confederate units are near you, and the alert level. It's another reason to keep that level low.
And at this time, there were telegraph stations here at Marietta, Kingston, Dalton, nowhere else, but if the message got up the line, they would set up barriers and
Stop
start
you at
sending
that
the
station.
military train here south to intercept you from the north. So you have pursuit from the south by the guys whose train was stolen, and possibly pursuit from the north with all of these actions going on in between.
So it seems like a pretty engaging game with a lot of interesting twists and turns.
We think so. I think up to this point we have about 106 play tests
Okay.
and lots of feedback and
Yeah.
lots of things.
So
And,
what is the
yeah,
have you talked with publishers? Are you still on the look?
That's the goal.
Okay.
I don't want to, become a game company.
Sure, yeah.
But I want to. I do want to get a license for this with someone, publish it, and I've been talking with
Okay.
several people.
Good,
and,
good.
Very excited about
Okay.
the prospect.
Okay.
And have this game came. In case this interests you, this game came from another game
Okay.
because there was another raid. This is part of the great raids of the Civil War series I'm creating, and the first one was the Confederate raid on Vermont.
Okay.
Do you know about that?
I do not.
Thousands of prisoners escaped from Union jails, Union
Okay.
prisoner of war camps, went to Canada. The Confederate Secret Service found out about this and knew about this. They went up to organize them to do raids in the north to draw
Okay.
troops away.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
a very similar raid happened in St. Albans, Vermont, where they stole the equivalent of $3.6 million
Wow.
in today's money, which was thought to be used in the Lincoln assassination.
Okay.
So it did have an impact more than
Yeah.
many people know about.
Yeah.
But at both raids were about 20 people, soldiers going behind enemy lines, dressed as civilians, springing out, stealing something of value, trying to burn structures, and chased by railroad workers. They have all that in common, so it's,
Yeah,
it's
that's
pretty
that's
amazing.
funny. Well, it's like you said, they stole their locomotive. My guess is their jobs were on the line, so
Yeah.
they were gonna really try to get that locomotive
it.
back.
Yeah.
That's pretty. That's
Yeah.
pretty, a great story, great historical event, and very interesting to see it given a treatment in a game. So.
Well, thank you. Yeah,
Well,
it's
cool.
fun.
I
A lot of fun.
definitely look forward to this one coming out sometime. And I will say one thing: your shirt is very reminiscent to me of my partner Alexander. He normally wears
Okay, all right.
garish clothing, so that shirt would give him a run for his money.
I have watched you enough that maybe he had a little effect.
Yeah.
on
Okay.
you.
There you go.
That
Please
could
don't
be.
ever say that again, Wes. Please take that back.
Okay, I take it.
Awesome. Well, hey, it was a pleasure meeting you.
Very
Pleasure meeting you as well. Very cool
interest.
story, and I look forward to playing this one. So.
The story's the key.
Yeah,
in a
absolutely.
game.
And isn't that the way
story's-
historical games
Yes,
are? It's
they have to
it's
be.
about the history.
They
So
have to be. Oh, yeah.
we actually have ready-made stories for us to make an interesting game like this.
That you
So-
could not make up.
No, sometimes
Yeah.
truth is stranger than fiction.
It really is in
So-
this case, yeah.
But thank you for your time today. Once again, this is Engine Thieves, the Andrews Railroad Raid of 1862. And I love the tagline. I don't think we read the tagline.
Oh, we didn't.
Go ahead and read that tagline for me.
Okay. You don't need a ticket to ride if you steal the train.
But they had tickets, but they stole the train.
They did.
So-
And in the rules, we say that at the
Yeah,
end.
got it,
They
got it.
actually needed a ticket to get
to
the
get
next
to get
station.
on, yeah. So anyway, thanks for sharing your game with us. I've been Grant for the Players Aid.
Thank you.
Thank you.